Hey guys, welcome to the 2025 Miami Dolphins season, and now we can start doing weekly recaps. I know there's a lot of Dolphin channels out there that post more regularly and are probably better at covering the Dolphins. That's fine, but I'm at least gonna tell you what I think, and if you like that, you can subscribe. And I don't edit that much. If I mess something up, you're going to see a mess up. And that's just how my channel is going to be. For the people who have been a part of the channel, welcome back. And, you know, in the summer I travel. So whoopity-doo. Like and subscribe, please. And also, for the comedy fans out there, I have a show in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, October 8th. And then I am in Tampa, Florida, October 11th. You can get tickets at Lenoci.com. Come see me. We'll talk about the Dolphins. The goal is to have a full audience of Miami Dolphin fans one day. Let's just kind of get started with what's going on with all the hate with the Miami Dolphins. And I understand that our fan base has always been like that, and I'll like check Reddit and I'll see what people are thinking in Reddit. Surprisingly, our Reddit is a little bit more positive than the comment sections of Instagram posts or, just basically Instagram posts and whatever the media is saying. And I don't even know why where this narrative started. I think it goes, all right, so the root of the narrative started after the season. We underperformed. We went 8-9. Let's just start with that. We went 8-9, where Tua missed 6 games, and those 6 games were started by Skylar Thompson. 4 of them were Tyler Huntley. I think McCoy was one of. I can't even name all the random people they got off the street to start, which is insane. That's just totally insane to think that none of these guys are ever going to be starting a game again. Huntley's not even on a team. I think Skylar is a backup in Pittsburgh, maybe, or I believe, or I don't even know. Like, those guys were trying to run this offense. Because of that, Tyreek and Waddle underperformed. They both got banged up, but also those 6 games, they couldn't get the offense going. Okay, so in those 6 games, I think we went 1-5, maybe 2-4. Okay, and then when Tua did come back, there were signs of some sparks of what our offense could be, but it was very frustrating, and it was because of the offensive line. Then there were highlights of Juno Smith, right? And then our defense looked great at some points. For a team that wasn't doing that well, we had a top 5 defense in like yards allowed. Weaver came on in his first year, and it was like, oh, this guy's going to be a head coach one day. So you go 8-9, you barely missed the playoffs, right? I mean, we were in it in the last game. You win the last game and the Broncos lose, we're in, right? Doesn't happen. You could point to certain games where, like, you shouldn't have lost that Colts game. You probably get into the playoffs, whatever. Even the one win that Tua had in opening day, we should have lost. Sure, you could say all these things. But they went 8-9 with that disastrous of a season. So that's why I'm like, where are you guys assuming that this isn't the same Dolphins from 2022 and 2023 that Mike McDaniel built, where we went 9-8, made the playoffs, we went 10-6 or 11-6, made the playoffs? Like, where are you guys assuming that if Tua doesn't get hurt, let's say he plays 3 extra games, okay? Are we not turning those other losses into at least a 10-7 team? Like, I'm just curious. Like, even if he doesn't get hurt, we're at least 10-7 last year, and they're a playoff team. Okay, so then at the end of the year, Tyreek says what he says because he's emotional, and dealing with people who are very emotional in the comedy scene and also Italians and stuff, I believe the whole Tyreek thing. He was pissed. He said what he said. They talked to him. He goes, yeah, you're right. My bad. I was pissed. How many of us had said something stupid when we were all emotional and pissed? And then, whatever reason, everybody in the media and everyone outside of the Miami Dolphins organization is like, he wants out. It doesn't matter if he changed his mind. He wants out. He's going to want out. He doesn't believe in McDaniel. They put it on McDaniel. He doesn't believe in McDaniel. That's not what it was. It was the fact that he had one of his worst careers, worst years of his careers. That was one of the reasons. Two, it was his first time not in the playoffs. So he's frustrated. It was never anything against McDaniel. He loves McDaniel. Look what he did for him his first 2 years in Miami. Okay? So then they start this whole thing that Tyreek wants to leave. Then the Jalen Ramsey thing happens, where I don't know necessarily what exactly went down, and maybe we'll find out that story later on, maybe next year or whatever. I don't think it has anything to do with what are the Miami Dolphins a tough team? What do they have? Do they have an identity? Are they a soft organization? I don't think that's what it was. I think they agreed to disagree on how they wanted to run a defense. And I think it came down to what Weaver wanted to do and where he wanted him to play and maybe some of the personnel. And it wasn't in line with what Ramsey wanted to do. And at the end of the day, he has to look at it as like a business situation where he's like, how do I want to run my body and how do I want to work my body and what will make me shine to make as much money as possible, which every player has the right to do. Hey, I'm going to play in a position or I want to play in a scheme that is going to give me the longevity to play until I'm 36. Teams don't give a shit. So I'm not saying the Dolphins are in the wrong or Jalen's in the wrong, but like for all we know, Miami's like, hey, this is what we want you to do. This is how we see our defense running. If you don't want to play that, then let's just agree to go the other way. They don't care if that's going to help his career or help him get a better contract. They want to do what's best to win. And players want to do what's best to keep them on the field for as long as possible so that they don't have to work after the NFL. That's my take on the whole Jalen Ramsey thing. I don't think it has anything to do with McDaniel. I don't think the team has lost faith in McDaniel. I don't think any of those narratives are true. I know there was something with one of the ex-Miami Dolphins safeties was talking about Pittsburgh and how the culture, it's a winning culture. And he's like, Miami, they all know it's not a winning culture there. No, they don't. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. Like you think like, I love how people also are like, hey, players, man, they're just going to show up. They're going to show up to the Dolphins. And week one, they're like, we don't believe in this culture. We're not here to win, so we're not going to try. Like, who operates like that? Even if I didn't like someone I worked with, if I was on a television show, if I was working on set, if I was working anywhere where I'm making a paycheck, why would I not want to be great? Like, oh, I'm on a show with someone I don't like. I guess I'm not going to really try that hard on this show. Like, do you honestly think that these players are like, oh, let's just collect a paycheck and not try? Really? You think that? You don't think Tyreek honestly wants to try to get 2,000 yards this year? You don't think Tua wants to be great? You don't think there's players on this defensive line that want to get 20 sacks? You don't think the cornerbacks who are no-name cornerbacks want to get 5 picks and make a name for themselves and try to make a Pro Bowl so they can get $20 million contracts? You think Fitzpatrick's just sitting there at safety going, well, I had a good career. Now I'm with an organization that has no winning culture, so I guess I'll phone it in. What, like, who operates that? Anyone? Like, do your friends operate like that? Does anyone you know personally operate like that? That narrative is insane. And they're all saying it. It's every sports channel thinks that, like, they've given up on McDaniel. They don't really like the culture. Like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Nobody in life operates that way. You might not agree with the way certain people do things, but that does not mean you're not going to try. Now, if you were going to say, hey, if things go south quick, then people might check out. That could be true, but let's get there. But to assume this team is going to be under 7 wins and go 6-11 with no injuries. Now, if you're going to say if Tua gets hurt, they're not going to win, I still disagree. Because with an 8-9 team last year and losing all those games with those backup quarterbacks, I guarantee Quinn or Zach Wilson can pull off a lot more plays and make a lot more plays than what we had last year. So even if Tua does get hurt, I still have a little hope with this defensive front and with this offense and Mike McDaniel. I believe in it all. And I know that early in the year, I said I always get delusional as the season starts. Well, maybe I'm delusional, but I'm also looking at it like, look at this schedule, man. You think that Vrabel's coming in and in 2 weeks with Drake May and all the new pieces they have, they're going to just come out and be 2-0. They're going to beat the Raiders and Miami. in Miami, I'm saying we play Indianapolis week 1 against Daniel Jones. Then we come home against the New England Patriots. I don't see a situation where we're starting out 0-2 or even 1-1. I expect us to go 2-0. Okay, so that's why I'm like, what is going on here? Why is everyone hating on us like, hey, even if Tua's O-line isn't that great, even if it's mediocre, this offense is going to put up numbers. With Tyreek and Waddle being healthy and adding Darren Waller. I don't need Darren Waller to do what Geno Smith did. I just need him to do half of what Geno Smith did. All right? We like what Malik Washington's starting to look like. And we also have, what's his name from the Titans that we got. So I like this offense. I like Ollie Gordon. I like him a lot. And I think they use Achane a lot on third down. They pass the ball to him. And I think Ollie gets a lot of, I think as the season goes along, he's going to get a lot of carries. And we're going to see more of him. And, you know, if you're in fantasy, he's there in the 12th, 13th, 14th round. I'm just kind of like, I don't understand this narrative of where everyone's like, oh, who knows? This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a disaster. Really? Really? I mean, I'm watching one of these guys break down Patrick Paul. They're saying he looks great. Yeah, you got a rookie guard, but then you got Daniels coming off of an injury, but he's a vet. Austin Jackson, mediocre. And then we got our great center. And these guys are moving. Now, there was a couple drives in the Jacksonville preseason game that looked ugly and Tua didn't look good. Tua's going to have a bad game here and there. I will admit that. He's never going to be a top 5 quarterback, but there's times when he can be a top 10 quarterback. And I've said this so many times, if you're a top 10 quarterback, all you need is a top 5 defense, and you could be a very, very good team. There's been a lot of teams that have won Super Bowls with top 5 defenses and top 10 quarterbacks. And then there's been a lot of Super Bowls won by teams who just have a top 5 quarterback. And we know who those guys are. But there's a lot of teams with top 5 quarterbacks who don't even make the Super Bowl. Baltimore, Buffalo, and even the Bengals. So I just want to throw out that this whole narrative that this is a disaster and people just keep posting videos about the Dolphins and it's ugly down there. Who's saying this? Because the people I talk to that work for the team, nobody's saying that. They're all excited. Everybody's playing to win like a lot of games. Tyreek is going for 2,000 yards. Tua is starting off healthy. It's going to be the same offense. He just has to not be stupid and put his head down and try to tackle someone or even try to scramble. With his head down. He can still scramble. He can still be the mobile guy we need him to be, but just slide, run out of bounds. If you're going to be mobile, it's not to make a play. It's to make a play when something's broken down. Run out of bounds. You're buying yourself time to throw the ball. You're not trying to run for 50 yards a game, and that's fine, and I think we'll be fine. The one things you want to look out for is the run game good. If the run game starts off tough, if it's not going well, then these games will be closer against the Patriots and Colts. We're going to know a lot in the first 2 weeks. We're going to see how the run game goes. If the run game is working on all cylinders those first 2 weeks, Tyreek and Waddle, they're going to be putting up numbers, and this offense is going to start off fast. And I think they want it to start off fast, and that's why Tua played more drives than he ever has in his career in the preseason. That's why we saw that, because I think they want to start fast. They want to get the offensive clicking and going because it looked a little rusty even in game 1 last year. Although we had the drama and whatever was going on with the Dolphins, with the police and Tyreek. But to say that it's going to be a disaster, it just kind of boils my blood. I'm like, who are they kidding? I mean, like, the Colts line right now, -1.5. It's +1 Dolphins. So, I mean, people are assuming the Dolphins are going to win. If you don't know anything about Vegas and lines, most home teams get a -3 default. So that's why when someone's heavily favored, you'll see like a +4 or a -4 or -6. Like the Bills were playing in Buffalo Thursday night, but they're favored -8.5 right now. And, I wouldn't even touch that yet because I still want to see what kind of product the Dolphins are putting on the field. I assume the Bills are going to be very good still. But with the Patriots, everyone's high on the Patriots, how they're low on the Dolphins. It just makes no sense to me. I saw a guy say that the Dolphins are going to have the worst record in the division. And maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know. I'm a 41-year-old guy. I've been watching the NFL every week, every Dolphins game for the last 25 plus years. I don't understand where this is coming from. It makes no sense. It's like the same delusion of like when people were like, Houston Texans last year, they're going to be the team. I think they play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. It's like, relax, guys. Don't you know the pattern of the NFL? There's always a sophomore slump. People get videos of these guys. They get tape. They get so much tape. The only sophomore slump we didn't really see was Joe Burrow, because we're talking about one of the best 5 in the league. But I mean, I expect Washington to dip a little bit with Jaden Daniels. I don't, expect them to come out. Now, can Houston get better? Probably. But to think that the Patriots are going to come out and be a playoff team, how like the Bengals were in year 2 with their rookie quarterback. I mean, Drake May is nowhere near what Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels was doing, or even Josh Allen. So it's like the comparison I understand eventually, maybe year 3, maybe year 4, but to say year 2, playoff team? What are we doing? This is insane. I have a buddy who thinks this is going to be a disaster. We're going to go 6-11. What are you watching? What are you are you listening to other people? It makes no sense to me. With the schedule, you have the Colts, the Patriots, the Bills, the Jets, the Panthers, the Chargers, the Browns, and the Falcons. So if you don't understand what that is, that's the first 8 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the first 8 games of the Miami Dolphins schedule this year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 teams picked in the top 10. 5 of the 8 teams. 5 of the 8 teams picked in the top 10. Miami's only favored in 3 of those. No idea how. So even if you give us the 3 favored wins, you're telling me at the very least they're 4-4. Would you agree? At the very least they're 4-4. Even if 2, I think Zach Wilson could get us to 3-5 in those first 8 games. I would even say 4-4. If the Dolphins are 4-4, that's past the trade deadline. Tyreek's stuck a Miami Dolphin. The only way Tyreek would leave is if the Dolphins started off 0-3, 1-3. Then there's noise. Then the trade comes. There's no way that's happening. The very least, the Dolphins are 2-2, most likely 3-1, long shot 4-0. Then you have the Panthers. I don't see this team being worse than 3-2. You're saying so after 5 weeks they're 3-2. Nobody's getting traded. You're in the hunt. Then you play the Chargers at home. If you lost, you went 3-3. Then you have the Browns. So it's like, where do you think this team's going? You think this team's going 6-11? They're going to get half of the 6 wins in the first 6 weeks. What? 6-11? 8-9? You're not taking the over? You're not taking the over on this? The first 8 games. And then after that, the Falcons. The Falcons, you can't say they're better than the Dolphins, if not equal. Then you got then you get the hard stretch. Totally understand there could be a collapse. You got Ravens, Bills, Commanders. Then you got the Saints and Jets again. 2 softies right after that. Then you got the Steelers. We don't know. That could be like the Dolphins. We don't know. Then the Bengals and Bucks. And then the Patriots to end it out. I'm taking over. Over on the 8, man. Over on the 8. I just think it's crazy how many people are hating on the Dolphins. Keep that energy. And I'll keep the same energy. I will sit here and be like, I am totally wrong. 2 years ago, look at me. 2 years ago, we were 9-3, and I did my weekly recap, and I said, guys, congratulations. Congratulations. We are going to see a home playoff game for the first time in 20 years. I said that. And the football gods came down, and they're like, you stupid MF. You stupid MF. Why would you say that? And I put my foot in my mouth. And so I'll admit it. I was wrong. I was totally wrong, and I spoke too soon. We had a collapse, and that Titans game will haunt us forever. Okay? Because if we win that, we have it. But if I'm sitting here going into Buffalo Thursday night and we're 1-1, I'll sit here and I'll be like, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. because I won't expect to beat Buffalo in Buffalo on a short week, Thursday night in Buffalo. 1 and 2, that's when the noise starts. That all you want to do is keep the noise away. And how do you do that? You win your first 2. You start off 2-0. There's positive videos. Every channel's like, well, we were wrong about the Dolphins. Dolphins offense looks good. Defense looks good. Tua looks good. He's healthy. Tyreek's making plays. They're 2-0. Going into a Thursday night game with the Buffalo Bills, who are 2-0 or 1-1, whatever their schedule is, right? Let's see what their schedule is. They play the Ravens the first game and then the Jets. So at the very least, they're 1-1, okay? But they're not going to be 0-2. They're not going to lose to the Jets. But that's my whole point, is keep the noise away. You start off 2-0, it's all positive. You play the Bills, that's the game he gets hurt. He gets hurt against the Bills. He gets hurt on Thursday nights. It's going to be a weird game, and we're going to be nervous. But if they play good against the Bills, and even if they lose, the narrative changes then all of a sudden. And now if you beat the Bills and you start off 3-0, how fun is that now? Easy money. Everybody's talking about it. And then all these people saying all this crap before, do they come back around and go, well, we were wrong? No, they're going to be like, we weren't wrong. We just didn't know. Remember, we're like, we don't know what's going to happen to the Dolphins. We don't know what's going on down there. Seems like it's a mess. No, it doesn't. Who said it seems like it's a mess? It's pissing me off, guys. I think we have a lot to be excited about. I'm excited for this game. I think the Colts are a lot more trouble than us. Over, under, 46.5. I would love to say the Dolphins win 28-21. I'd love to say they win 28-21. I'll take 24-14. I'll take 24-14. That's the under. But I don't see how they don't win this Colts game. Now, does it start off slow because the Colts come out strong because Jim Irsay or whatever, is that his name? The owner died, so they'll probably do something for him and they'll play with emotion. But it's like, how emotional is it? Are these guys even close to the owners? I'm excited. I have a teaser if you guys want to hear it. You guys can match it. I think this is an automatic one. I'll always do my bets of the week. I do one teaser each week. So each recap, you can count on this. My teaser for week 1, I'll always do one big one. Obviously, I'll do a lot of bets, but the one that I'm really excited about this week, and I feel like, maybe I'm delusional, I'm wrong, but I just think that this is a lock. I teased it. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. Tease 7 points. So I'm taking Steelers +4. So you can tease 7 points. Brings the Steelers to +4. Bengals +2. Arizona 0.5 point. Broncos -1. And Eagles to win. That's it. Just Eagles to win. I mean, show me a world outside of the Bengals losing to the Patriots last year, right? That was one where you're like, wait, what happened? Show me that this happens in any of these games. If you want to know who their opponents are, you have the Cardinals are playing the Saints, who we all assume they're going to go 1-15. I don't know. Maybe they are. Okay? Eagles are playing the Cowboys. Enough said about that. I mean, I can't imagine. They just lost the best defensive player in the NFL. I mean, I just would be shocked if they won this game. I'm willing to bet it. The Cardinals, again, are playing the Saints. I don't think the Saints are going to be good at all. Steelers and Jets. I think the Steelers are going to win, and I got them +4. And then Bengals are playing the Browns. You know they want to start off hot. I feel like it's easy money. So having them at +2. And then Broncos are playing the Titans. Rookie quarterback, first game, playing a playoff team. They're not going to win. Having them at +0.5. I feel like this is a great parlay. So take that if you want. outside of that, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. We are going to do weekly recaps. I don't watch the film probably like some of these pros, but when it's the season, like I watched all the preseason games. Last year I would do like recaps of the preseason games, but it's like I don't really know the players, and it's like, what are they doing? You don't know what are they even doing? Maybe they're like, hey, we're running 3 running plays. We just want to see how they run, how our people block the outside runs to the right. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even a scripted play they're not even playing to win. They're just playing to be like, hey, we need to work on our screen game. So let's run 4 screen. You don't even know. So I don't really know enough to be able to analyze it. But I like watching the videos, and there's a lot of good videos about Brewer and Patrick Paul. So that's good. But I watch the Dolphins games. I'll go to it. I'm going to a lot of the games. I will be at the Atlanta game, Carolina game. I'm going to the Colts game. I'll be at the Chargers game. I'll be at the Bucks game. So I'm excited, and I'm going to, literally watch the game, rewatch it, watch it again, and I really just want to know, like, where are the weaknesses? Is it the cornerbacks? Rasul Douglas is a great ad. Is Storm Duck the next Cater Kodu, Nick Needham type guy who's just like, I made the team last year, and now I want to let people know that I'm playing and I'm going to get a contract. That's how good I'm going to play. Who knows? I'm happy with the safeties. Our front 7 is going to be elite. I'm excited. They're going to be healthy. Knock on wood. Who knows? I hope 2 guys get over 10 sacks. That's what you want. And that's exciting to look forward to. And the O-line, man, it's going to be, we could end up having one of the best rookie guards. And if we hit on the guard, then that's going to be huge for us. That's a big thing. If we hit on the guard and we hit on Patrick Paul, then guess what? We got a good team. And I would expect that there's going to be some shaky things in the first 2 weeks, some penalties, some pre-snap penalties, because that's just how our offense is. But if we clean it up quickly, it can be a good year. And it's something I saw Taram Armstead's channel. I like watching his channel. It seemed like he hasn't posted a lot about the Dolphins recently, but it was fun watching him tell us some inside Dolphin things. He's been totally positive about the Dolphins. So also, nobody's listening to him. He's like, hey, nothing's going on here with Tua and Tyreek. Shut up. But, I mean, like, he said it best. I like this. He goes, show me a team that has too many pre-snap penalties and negative plays, and I'll show you a team drafting in the top 10. So I think that's what you want to look for in the first 2 weeks. Is there negative plays, and how many penalties, pre-snap penalties, are we having on the offensive side of the ball? If we can not have any of those, I expect good things. And then, we'll circle back on whether or not we're going to have a good year after the first 2 weeks. Because for me, these are 2 great opponents to play in your first 2 weeks. 2 teams who are trying to reestablish their cultures, not us, and become better. And one team's excited about a new first-year coach. Vrabel's a great coach. I love him. He was great in Tennessee. But do they have the personnel to be a playoff team yet? I would be shocked if they did. For me, I would be like, they should be like the Bears. Like, hey, if you go 8-9, that's awesome. If you're 7-10, good year. That's a good year. But to say you're going to go 10-7, I wouldn't say the Bears are going to go 10-7 in that division. So that's just kind of crazy to me. And then the Colts, to me, seem like they could be a step down. I mean, I think the Jags could step up and really shock people this year. And Houston should still be good. And then you got the Titans, who are just kind of, they'd be happy if they won 5 games, 6 games, and some of them were exciting, But are the Colts going to be fighting for a playoff? I don't think so. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Take a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.